Hi, 7th grade. This is Mrs. C, your virtual content specialist. Today we're going to be using a strategy called word work. This strategy will help us understand what words mean and how they connect to each other. When using this strategy, you will be able to show what you know about the meanings of words and the relationships between them in any unit of study in Passport to Social Studies. So what is word work? Word work is a strategy that helps us understand what words mean and how they connect to other words. When using word work, you want to do three things. First, you want to look at the words or the key terms. That's easy enough. But you want to find the words or key terms that you are having difficulty with or that are most challenging for you to understand. Two, you want to find or create the definition of each word. You can do this in many ways. You can actually look it up online or maybe in a dictionary. You can use context clues if you prefer to find the meaning on your own. Or you can work with a partner to create the meaning of the word that you're having difficulty with. And finally, you want to use this information to compare and contrast the words that you're working with. The one thing to remember is that when using the word work strategy, you want to use two or more words that are challenging to you. This strategy will not work with just one word. So when using the word work strategy, you'd probably receive a handout or organizer from your teacher with boxes that look like this. These are columns. The first column is for our first word. The second column is for connections between our first word and our second word. And you can add 3 words, 4 words. However, your organizer is created does not matter as long as you have these boxes to make meaning and find relationships between the words. So let's take a look at what this actually looks in a live model. So we're going to use Unit 3, the U.S. Constitution, as our exemplar. And we're going to use 2 words from that unit, government and democracy. And here, we see the definition of a government is a system by which a nation, state, or community is regulated or governed. In a democracy, the definition is a kind of government in which the people choose their own leaders. In the middle, what you want to do in that first box in the middle column is find the connections or relationships between both of the words that you are working with. The first thing that I notice about both of these words is that they are both nouns. A noun is a word used to describe a person, place, or thing. And these are both things or ideas. So I've identified it as nouns. The next thing I know about both of these words is that they're both a kind of system and they have to do with politics. Both of these things have to do with politics and they're both a kind of a system. The next connection that I'm going to make is that democracy can be a type of government, but there are many other types of governments. And you can make any connection. If your 2 words begin with the same 4 letters, you can make that connection here. If your 2 words both rhyme, you can make that connection here. Literally any connection counts. I'm going to work with my first word here to find the related words. By related words, I mean any words that I can think of when I think about government, even if there are synonyms. So when I think about government, I think about a system. I think about people, politics. I think about country. I think about power. And I think about an organization or organized. And then I'm going to use that word in a sentence. So a government helps make laws. And here I've used that word government. Now I'm going to move over to my second word, which is democracy. And here I'm going to identify all the words that I think of when I think of democracy. When I think of democracy, I think about people, politics, think about a government, I think about voting, I think about fairness, I think about how democracy is supposed to be equal or equality. And these are the words that I have identified as related words to democracy. And then I'm going to use democracy in a sentence. In a democracy, the people vote for their leaders. And that's how I've used the word democracy. Now we're going to move on to the middle column, which is our connections column. We've already found the relationships between both words, any similarities that we can find. Now we have to find how these words are related. They're related through people. I see this word repeated on both sides. They're related to politics. They're related to organization or organized. And they're both related to power. Because in a democracy, people have the power to vote. And that's how I make these connections in my head, but you can make your own connections, of course. And then what I'm going to do is use both words in a sentence. In a democracy, the government is chosen by the people. And that's how I've used both words in this sentence. So looking back at this organizer, I am now able to completely understand what both words mean, how are they connected, and how they might relate to other topics or ideas within this unit. So, when you use the word work strategy, remember to identify the key vocabulary words or terms that you're having the most difficulty with, and you have to identify 2 or more words. Find or create a definition for each word and use in a sentence. This is great when you're working with a partner. And then compare and contrast both of these words. This can be sort of a game when you're trying to figure out how these words are connected, what the similarities are, what the differences are. So have fun with it.